Vervolg. The club's motto is fabulous, growth and stability. Done pretty well on that front, hasn't it? Bringing Europe together, reducing national divisions, convergence. What a load of crock compared to what it's actually achieved. You've got 25% unemployment in Greece, 5% in Germany. That's not at all convergence. You've got people at each other's throats now, national conflicts like we haven't seen for 60 years. And you have absolutely stagnant economy with the worst economic performance of any major region on the planet. But it's only a matter of time before one of the European countries leaves the euro, which would totally break the whole thing apart. If Le Pen wins in France, that's the end of the euro. If Beppe wins in Italy, that would be shaking the foundations of the euro. So let's get out before it collapses. This to me is the comeuppance for the left of getting involved in identity politics at one extreme and leaving economics for the economists on the other. Is the left is so obsessed about doing things properly that it never does anything. Whereas the right basically wants to get something done and doesn't care whether it treads on toes in the process. So the reality is, unfortunately, that most of the time you get a revolt against this stuff, it'll be a right-wing revolt. And that's what you got out of Trump, you got out of Marine Le Pen. But tough shit. The left actually lost the argument by focusing on that alone and not focusing on the economics at a serious level of depth. The crazy thing is, you can find people from as progressive a position as Wynne Godley and as reactionary position as Milton Friedman, as economists, both saying you should never reform this thing in the way you did in the first place. Writing in 1992, Wynne Godley said that if you've designed a system that only has a central bank, it has severe restrictions on government spending, when government spending is not the problem when you have your own national currency, but it makes it a problem when you don't have a national currency. And Milton Friedman at the other extreme said you need to have so many common elements to make a common currency area work, like a common language and free movement of goods and so on and so forth within that region, and you take your welfare payments with you when you move. He said Europe doesn't have that, and new design doesn't enable it to have that. It's going to fail. So you're ignoring the dynamics of private sector borrowing. You're constraining what the government can do. You've taken away the capacity to devalue. You put the economy in not one but two straitjackets. You've got a straitjacket about no exchange rate movements anymore. You've got a double straitjacket saying no fiscal policy either, and you expect the system to work. He said, now that can only work if capitalism is a stable system. Since it's not, when a crisis occurs, there is nothing to stop it suffering a process of terminal decline, leading to emigration as the only alternative to starvation or poverty. And the people who are keeping it going are committed to making a failure succeed without changing why the failure is a failure. If it's been wiped out by its first major challenge, then it was never going to work in the first place, and you have to redesign it. And the easiest way is for a country like Italy to pull out and re-establish the lira, to limit all its domestic debts in lira, and write off all its foreign debts, and start all over again.